Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the It Takes Two podcast. We are so excited that you guys are joining us. Hope you're having a great weekend so far.
We had a fun week. We
did.
Thanksgiving. We had a vlog come out for the first time.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
It was.
I hope you guys think it was cool.
No, people like it. People have been liking it. It's on the same channel, so if you guys want to go listen to it, or not listen, but watch it, it's on the channel. It's Thanksgiving week.
YouTube only.
Well, yeah, YouTube only, because the audio would be weird for a vlog. Just the audio, but
A vlog also does mean a video blog.
True, yeah.
But
exactly.
For those who don't know.
Yes, we did it, and it was awesome. It was fun.
A little change up.
Yeah, just a little real life, behind the scenes stuff for you guys, the two crew, as we are labeling ourselves now as the two crew, this family. But yeah, we had a fun week. Thanksgiving holiday season is now upon us. We just watched a Christmas movie last night.
I watched a lot of Christmas movies on, what day was it? Saturday, because I decorated for Christmas. So everyone, if you haven't yet, you're allowed to now.
Yeah.
I am an after Thanksgiving girly, 100,000%.
Oh, like decorating after Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get into that never, because we don't need controversy like that here.
Yeah, Adrian, I was working.
This is not a discussion.
I was working, and Adrian, you like decorated everything, and it was all laid out, everything, and it was all laid out, and it came downstairs from my office at the end of the day, and I was like, and we were talking, and she was like, "Don't you have something to say?" And I was like, do I? She goes, "You should." And then she points, and
I just turn you around.
Oh, you turn. She grabbed my shoulders and she turned me around.
He's like, "What am I?"
And in my head, I was looking, and I was like, "What am I supposed to be complimenting here?" And I was like, "Okay, the Christmas tree, the presents, the stockings." I'm like, "All of this is the same. Did she get something new?" And I was like, "Oh, no, it all looks great. It all looks great." So you did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, but this episode, we're excited. We're going to be talking about red flags. How to identify them, some common red flags that we can see in relationships, and maybe what to do if you see that in your relationship. And so it'll be a good conversation. But before that, we are going to do another segment. Would you like to introduce it?
We're doing another draft.
Everybody.
We had so much fun with that one.
Yeah.
I wish we could do it every week, but we got to keep it fresh. So this draft is going to be on romantic movies.
Mm-hmm.
Rom-coms included.
So yes.
All romantic
movies, which is a pretty hard, it's a hard draft.
It's hard to bring it down to 5, your top 5, but we're going to do it.
Yep. And
I love it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we'll probably have some overlap. I don't know. We generally have the same taste in romantic movies and rom-coms and things like that. We have like our movies that we always watch. So you know what I will say? I didn't include any like Christmas I don't have any Christmas movies in mind. I don't think.
Yeah, no, me neither. I feel like it's a different category for me.
Okay. Because we watched technically a rom-com Christmas movie the other night.
Yeah.
But, okay, so if you haven't watched the other episode where we did a draft, basically it's 5 rounds. We each go and we draft our favorite movies. No do-overs or no duplicates. So we'll start round 1. And do you want to start?
Okay. Oh, you want to give it to me already? Yeah. Okay, I have a list going. So, romantic movies.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, I have to do The Notebook.
Yeah. I mean, come on. That's on a majority of people's number 1. That's an easy number 1.
It is easy, but you didn't get it. So, big bummer for you.
No, I know, but if you wouldn't have picked it at 1, I would have picked it at 2. All right, number 2. Number 2 for me. All right. I don't know if you'll probably know I'm going to
I know exactly what you're going to say. And I almost feel like I kind of gave it to you.
Number 2 off the board is Titanic.
Yeah, 100%.
Titanic. It's
a big 1,000%.
Like my whole family, we watched that movie.
If there's one movie you guys quote more than anything else, it's Titanic.
Yeah. And like, listen, guys, these are not movie recommendations, so don't come at us with, well, that movie has, we're not going to do that. This is just our draft, okay? So, Titanic.
You're not playing.
Exactly. So, classic movie, tons of awards. I think it's one of the most Academy Award-winning
Yeah.
movies. Definitely the most Academy Award-winning romantic movie, I'm pretty sure. Leonardo DiCaprio in his youth, in his prime. I mean, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot there. Great storyline, so I'm taking Titanic.
Okay, number
No, no,
two
no, no,
for
no, no,
me.
no, no,
Oh,
no.
it's a snake draft.
I go again.
All right, go ahead, go ahead.
Hold your roll.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, number 2. All right. Man, am I gonna go with this one
Requires
on
more
number 2?
thought now. The obvious are out of the way.
Okay, I'm gonna go number 2, and this might shock some people, but I'm gonna go my second pick, Pride and Prejudice.
That was on my list too.
Pride and Prejudice. It's
Oh,
just a classy movie.
yeah, it is. Dang, that was
Dorsey,
yeah, Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy. That's Dorsey. Darcy, Mr. Darcy.
That was definitely
Just a gentleman, straight through.
gonna be one of my next
Honorable
picks.
man, Darcy. Absolutely. All right.
I like that. Okay, well, that's bringing my number 2 pick to How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
I knew that was going to be on your list.
It's
a classic.
It's a classic. It brings a different tone.
Yep.
Like Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson, their on-screen chemistry is also just amazing.
Yeah. It's a good one. I mean,
I can just be like, I want to be in this movie.
Yep.
I want this to be my life.
Yeah, that's a good one. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's my next one.
And you got to go again now.
Yeah. Okay.
We're on round 3.
Yeah, my third pick. Not like it matters, but I'm like crossing up the ones I can't do, but I'm bolding the ones I got. Okay, my number 3 pick is gonna be Notting Hill.
Oh, that was gonna be my next pick. I know. Yeah, Notting Hill. I love Notting Hill.
Yeah, it's a real good one.
It's a really good one. Just like a complete movie. Feel good. Oh, it's awesome. Great story. Okay. Notting Hill. Oh, okay. Okay, so my third one then. My third one, I haven't had a rom-com in here yet, so I'm gonna go with my rom-com as The Proposal.
Oh, that's so good. I didn't even have that written
The Proposal, absolutely.
And I quote that a lot.
All the time. Sandra Bullock, Ryan Reynolds. Also great on-screen chemistry.
Oh, amazing.
They did so good. So that's my number 3. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's such a good
so
pick.
Funny.
Babe, good job.
They play their
I'm happy
roles
for you.
really well. Okay, and then number 4 for me. Ooh, man, number 4. This might shock you because I don't know if we ever watched this movie together.
Oh.
My number 4 pick is going to be Dirty Dancing.
I think maybe we might have watched
Dirty
this.
Dancing. I watched that
I figure, yeah, that could be on your list.
a bit ago, and it's also it's a oldie, but it's a goodie. It's not too old. Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Is that from that movie? I think that's from a different movie.
That's from Dirty Dancing.
I thought it was from that boxing movie.
What boxing movie?
I don't remember her name now, but
Her? Oh, female boxing movie?
yes, if anyone has seen it, they'll know. Let me look it up.
Nobody puts
can
baby in a
defend
corner
your
when it's from an
choice.
athletic movie. No, it's like an iconic line of Dirty Dancing.
Oh.
She like secretly is wanting to do this dance competition. Everybody says no, and then okay.
Oh, $1 Million Baby.
Never seen it, but no, that's not from $1 Million Baby. That is from Dirty Dancing.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Hilary Swank. I thought maybe that was from her. All right, so this is my number 4 pick.
Your number 4 pick. Yep.
Okay, number 4. I have to do A Walk to Remember.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
With Mandy Moore, and she's. Well, I can't tell you anything about it if you don't know it.
I don't think I've seen that. Is that the 9/11 one?
No, that's Remember Me. This is the one where also spoiler alert for everyone else. No, the one, remember where she like one of her goals is to be in 2 places at once.
Like, how do I remember if I've never seen the movie?
Well, maybe you would remember that moment because I took a picture when I was, and so he like takes her to be on the border of 2 states so she could be in 2 places at once. So when I went to Utah, I stood on the border, so I was in 2 states and I got to do it.
No.
Oh, we need to watch
Okay,
it. That's on
okay.
the list this week.
And then what's your number 5?
There's a reason why you have no reaction. My last and final pick. It's gonna be. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. It's called Return to Me.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a good
Is it
one.
old?
It's older, yeah. But if you guys have seen, I don't want to spoil it for you because like the whole premise that I would explain it is like the spoiler of the movie. But it's really good.
Okay, who's
Yeah.
in it?
Minnie Driver, is that her name?
I don't know. I don't know who that is. Sounds
It's
like a
like
really
90s.
awesome movie.
Shut up. You're so dumb.
Okay. All right. My number 5 is a grossly underrated romantic film.
Okay.
Incredible cast, will make you laugh so hard. My number 5 is Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, it's a pretty good movie. It would not be my top 5.
It is so much better than pretty good. Ryan Gosling.
You can have it,
Stephen
babe. It's your
Carell.
draft.
It's incredible. That's a good one. So let us know what your.
Did you have any ones that didn't get picked from your list? I had 2.
I had one About Time.
Oh, definitely no for me.
Why? Why?
It's too sad. I don't like it.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah, I don't like it.
But that's the point of it being so good, is it draws the emotions out.
No, but 2 on my list that I didn't say is Princess Bride.
Never seen it.
And then My Best Friend's Wedding.
Never seen it.
You guys, we have homework to
Oh,
do.
also what was on mine as a honorable mention was The Wedding Planner.
Oh, that is very good.
Yeah, it's a very good one. Oh, okay. Let us know if we missed any, guys, or what you would have drafted differently. But
yes, I love to hear the other ideas of what we missed.
yes, that was a good draft. That was pretty good. We got the main ones in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Time Traveler's Wife is also one, but it's too sad.
No, I'm not about
too
those
sad.
kinds of movies.
It's
You like the
way
same
too
things.
sad. Awesome. Okay, so let's jump into the main portion of the podcast in red flags.
Red flags. Well, okay, we did something. We're recording on a Sunday. And so today, earlier this week for you guys, we put something out on our story.
Oh,
saying,
yeah. Let's do this before we do red flags.
Are your relationship icks?
Yeah, yes.
And
so what's a relationship ick?
Some of the answers. You explain it.
Okay, relationship icks are just like things about a relationship that make you cringe. You know, it's just like, it's cringy. I don't like it. Makes me uncomfortable. You know, I don't want to be a part of it. Just like it. That's what an ick is. Not necessarily a pet peeve, more like
what's your ick?
An annoyance.
Yeah.
Of sorts. Just a cringe. What makes you cringe in relationships?
Okay, I'm going to read some of them off because they're really funny. Some of them are honestly really good. Like some people put someone who's untrustworthy. That's an ick. Bad hygiene. Of course. Ick. Literal ick.
Yeah, those. Yeah, I mean, duh. If you are into bad hygiene, then I don't know if this is the podcast for you.
You know, I remember I read something that like Robert Pattinson like doesn't shower, and I don't mean like doesn't shower every day, like 3 times a week kind of thing. I mean like
ever,
like long periods of time without showering. And I've read an article about like lots of celebrities that we only shower like when we see dirt on ourselves. Like
I bet we know people that don't shower that much.
Well, what is that much?
I bet we know people that only shower once every week.
Once?
Yeah. I think
I
feel like there's
like,
more people in the world that are closet hygiene neglecting people. I mean, it's gross, but I think that
those are obvious icks.
Obvious icks.
So other ones that we had submitted were movie as a first date. That's an ick for them.
Why is that an ick?
I didn't write it, babe.
A movie.
When he doesn't listen to me when I know I'm right. Boyfriends.
Sounds like an ick I would have. Never mind. Go keep going.
Boyfriends following girls who post immodest things. That's an ick.
That is weird. That is an ick. That's a good one.
Pretending, always bragging about themselves, never ending stares.
Wait, hold on. Was that all one?
Yeah, they wrote that all out.
So, but I mean, obviously different icks. So you have
pretending, always bragging about themselves, and the never ending stares.
Okay.
They have a lot of
serial killer-esque.
When the man is always trying to one up and compete with the woman.
Oh yeah, that is annoying.
That is annoying. Cuddling all the time everywhere. I think whether you're in one or not in one, I don't think anyone really wants to see anyone else like all cuddly.
The necking. PDA.
Or snogging.
Snog, as the British say, snogging. That's more making out. That's more than cuddle.
Oh, well, don't do that either. When people say they didn't find the partner attractive at first when they started dating, that's an ick for someone.
That is, I mean,
like, why did you date them in the first place? You didn't find them attractive.
Or why would you just publicly tell people that?
Oh, yeah, it makes someone feel bad. I don't know. Okay, here's the last one I'll read. Dishonesty in any sense. If you have to lie about it, it affects trust, integrity, security, and more.
I feel like that's less of an ick and more just like a principle of.
Well, I agree though. I don't like it.
It is icky Vicky.
Okay.
Fairly Odd Parents plug, if you know it. That'd be crazy if somebody did. Yeah, those are some good icks. What my favorite, I think my biggest one I agree with in that ick is probably bad hygiene, or the constant cuddling.
Yeah, I think like if my friends can't be around us because we're always like physically like obsessed with each other,
yeah,
that just makes everyone uncomfortable. Like that's why no one wants a third wheel with you or whatever, is because they feel like a third wheel. Make them feel like you're all people.
Yeah,
you're in public.
Yeah.
Also, if you're dating, if you're doing that in public, makes me wonder how comfortable you are doing more things in private.
That is true. Dating couples that are like oddly touchy in public, yeah, it's
like, nah, you guys are crossing boundaries.
Talk about red flags, because that's like, yeah,
talk about red flags.
That's a red flag in dating. Yeah, because you are way more comfortable with that not in public than you are in public. So there's always more that obviously people can't see. So those are good icks. What are your guys' icks? Relationship icks.
Yeah, give us more of your icks in the comments.
I think I don't know if I have personal icks aside from those, but we would love to hear your guys's.
I think, yeah, an ick is just like people who are like overly confident, and it's just like really annoying.
That's weird because generally I am a confident person.
You're confident. You're not overly confident. Like the cocky, annoying type.
Yeah.
Or people who are just like, people who are just like pouty.
Pouty people, yeah. These are just more just relationship type or personality types, not like a relationship.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Okay, so let's talk through icks and red flags. Well, we got through the icks, but I guess that could kind of lead into some of these red flags. Now,
what does a red flag mean for people who don't know? Explain a red flag, or I'll explain a red flag.
You explain a red flag.
You're looking at them right now. So a red flag, if you don't know, is kind of like, there's red, yellow, green, right?
Primary
green
colors.
Means go. No, that's not the primary colors.
Hold on. Red is a primary color.
Yeah, red, blue, and yellow. Not.
What did you say? Oh, red, green,
red, yellow,
green,
green, like the lights.
I was off by one.
Okay, color theory. Gotta go back to school.
Color theory, like it's a degree.
Oh, I had to do that when I got my cosmetology degree.
Well, I'm not coloring hair for a living, so I think I'm good.
God. Anyhow, yeah, if you didn't know that about me, I went to beauty school, worked in a salon.
So she can do your hair?
No. Anyways, I work at a church now. We don't need to do that. Green means go, yellow means slow down, caution, red means stop. So if you're seeing a red flag on someone, it's like, whoa. Not even just slow down, but like, I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good way to describe it?
That was a really good way to describe it, actually. Good
People
job.
say, oh, my green flags. But like, they're all good things.
Yeah, red flags they're just very big concerns in somebody in the realm of relationships that we're talking about.
No.
Very big no-nos. So what we can do is we can talk about maybe some common red flags.
Yeah, I think common red flags. I think one that really gets me is when people aren't teachable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a relationship and no one can speak truth or wisdom to this person, because basically you're basically saying you think you know it all, or you're not receptive to anyone teaching you anything. That is a red flag. It's like when you go forward and something's wrong, you have a disagreement or whatever, no one can talk you down. No one can bring you back to earth. So I feel like the best way to amend that is like, who is your mentor? Who's speaking into your life? It could be a friend, but I feel like when you're coming from a different place, I think it could be more well received instead of just being a peer. So maybe you have like a couple mentor or your own personal mentor, like who's speaking into your life that can always, humble you a little bit.
Yeah. If you don't take wisdom, you is dumb. That's what I learned. I don't know who said that. I didn't say it. I heard it. But
sounds like a Rogerism to me.
it does. But yeah.
Is dumb.
You is dumb.
You is dumb.
You is dumb.
My dad's name is Roger, so Rogerism is my dad.
Yeah. I agree with that, and that is very concerning because everybody at some point is going to be wrong, and in relationships, you are going to be wrong at times, and that's why it's important. Yeah, people that aren't teachable, they're not going to grow, and so it's like the last thing that you want to do is marry an 18-year-old, and then when you're 35, you're still married to that 18-year-old.
Yeah, right.
Like that sucks, and so you want to make sure that when you get into marriage, you're married or in a relationship with somebody that you see the characteristics of humility in them. And I mean, a good practical marker, I feel like, is when is the last time you've heard the other person say, I was wrong, I'm sorry.
True.
Like, and if you can't remember the last time that either you've said that or your person has said that, then it's like, then that's a red flag, because if you're not teachable, you're just going to be stuck in this repetitive cycle of the same issues, the same heartache, the same struggle, and that's just not a fun place to be with in a relationship. I mean, we try and be teachable, and it's not like you accept criticism extremely well all the time. Like, it might be a process, but by the end of the day, usually we can come to an agreement, and we might be butting heads, but generally, once like the emotion of an argument is over, it's like, okay, yeah, no, I was wrong. And then the other person's like, yeah, no, I was wrong here. Because I feel like when we argue, I feel like generally there's like apologies on both sides.
Oh, yeah, I think it always
It's like, hey, yeah, I said more than I meant. Oh, yeah, I didn't do this. And then because of that.
For example, on Thanksgiving,
What happened
you
on
guys
Thanksgiving?
saw in our vlog, we played a few games with our families. It got a little heated.
Listen. I think we've said this on a past podcast, but we have actually. I think we said this on the first one. The majority of me and Adrian's fights originate from a game that we're playing together, a competition, because we're both so competitive, especially
That's
with one
why
another.
I always, when we play a game, I want to be on your team, because I'm like, I think it's healthier for us going forward if we just play together. Well, actually, no, because when you said I love you, it's because we didn't agree on the being on the same team, what we wanted to do. But anyways, all that to say, we got into, I said something rude. Not Lee. I said something rude during the game because I was mad at him, and instantly I saw, I'm shutting down. I'm shutting down.
What are you doing? I am shutting down.
That's from a movie that we like to watch. But anyways, I saw that and instantly I was like, oh, Adrian, you lost sight of it. You can't be calling your husband names in front of his family while you're playing a game. So I said, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And then even afterwards, you said, I'm sorry, because I knew that I was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Right, it was provoked. I was getting frustrated because you've been winning lately at the games we've been playing.
I did say that. I said, I hate losing so much. But yeah, that's funny. That did happen on Thanksgiving.
And I put the winners got a trophy we play Pictionary every year. There's a winner trophy. You guys saw the loser's trophy. Oh, I should have brought the winner's trophy out. Maybe later.
That'd be funny.
Anyways, I put it on the mantle right in the middle. And he's like, it's only blocking the screen from the movie.
So obnoxious.
I'm so proud.
So obnoxious. Yeah.
Anyways, you gotta admit when you're wrong. You have to apologize. Yeah. And if someone's not willing to do that, that's a red flag. I just think that if you're thinking like, okay, at some point you may disagree about something. At some point you may, be fussing with each other. And how is this going to turn out if that person never is willing to apologize or admit they're wrong?
It'll be awful. It'll be a ton of heartache. And me and Adrian we have people that, on this note of being teachable, like, we understand that we can both be pretty stubborn at times, and we've had the conversation, like, actually, hey, if I'm being like I'm really being a jerk, or I'm really being stubborn, or we've never even gotten to this point, but we've had the conversations that if I ever was this way, would it be who would you want me to call to basically call you and say, dude, like get your stuff together,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Buck up, basically. And we've had that conversation of, oh, you can call this person, I can call this person to help in that process. So,
Yeah.
but if you're with a person that's just like not teachable, not willing to admit that they're wrong, that is a huge red flag because that will become a repetitive problem.
Yeah.
Big repetitive
And
problem.
you're going to be really weary of having to deal with either compromising every single time or always being the one who apologizes, even when you're not wrong.
Hmm. Okay, so one of my big red flags that I put is a big red flag is somebody that treats their family poorly.
Mm.
And when I say that, I don't mean that they don't have a good relationship with their family because sometimes that's out
Some
of your
family
control.
members may be unhealthy and like you
Some people
need
may be crazy out
boundaries.
there. Families are crazy
So it's
sometimes.
not really even about that. Like you don't have to have a good family to have respect for your family
Exactly.
or honor for them, regardless of, maybe how they are.
Yeah. So pay attention to how they treat their family because if there's anybody that gets on like the nerve or knows how to push the buttons or draw
Oh,
patients out
family
of,
knows
it's
how to push
family,
your buttons.
and people,
And we do.
and we do, yeah. And you feel more free around your family. You feel like your guard is down a lot of the time, so you're not like more in like cautious of what you're saying and how you're saying it. So really, if you want to see somebody how they actually are, just get them around their family and observe. And if they're like a jerk and whatever, then that's who they actually are. Like
Totally.
that's
Yeah, that's their
the
unfiltered self.
yes.
And that's something you really want to be
And the worst is
cautious
if you're
about.
dating somebody and you're dating a filtered version.
And then you find out who they really are later on once you're already
Mm-hmm.
locked in.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's a really good point. You are the most probably authentic around your family.
Absolutely. So yeah, people that don't treat their family poorly, I mean, newsflash, you're eventually going to be family. So they'll eventually treat you like they treat their family.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's mine.
Unfortunately, I feel like you're the most comfortable around your family or the people closest in your life. I guess that could be your spouse, it could be family, maybe it could be a few really close friends that you treat like family. Sometimes I feel like it's really easy to take advantage of those relationships and
Mm-hmm.
you can treat them really poorly. You can treat them without filter. And that's when you're like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. I know I shouldn't have, but they just bother me so much. Like you probably wouldn't do that to everyone. You
Absolutely
take
not.
liberties with people you feel the most comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. You want me to keep going? You want one?
Oh, I got a good one. Isolation. Red flag.
Okay.
If the person that you're dating or you're married to, that could be possible. Married people can have red flags too. If the person that you're with, and I always hate that I say person because I don't want to sound like partner, but I'm thinking like I don't want to always say husband because it could be a wife, it could be a girlfriend, a boyfriend,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, yeah.
So just know the preface when I say person, it's annoying that it sounds so like.
I don't think it sounds as much that way that you think it does.
Well, it bothers me, so I'm just gonna clarify for all my friends out there. But if the person in your life is someone that either isolates themselves, like from community, from I don't know, anyone, like they don't want to spend quality time with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be your love language to want to spend time with people, but if you're just someone who just doesn't have community, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Like either why don't you want to have community or why does no one want to have community with you?
Yeah.
And usually what you see a lot of is do they isolate you?
Mm-hmm.
Do they take you away from your friend group, take you away from your family, take you away from your community? That is a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Because then when things happen, you have no one to turn to. And, is it always, intentional? I don't know. But when they do that, it's like, oh, that's super unhealthy to not have anyone in your life.
It's sad when you see somebody that is surrounded by a bunch of friends and then they start dating somebody and everybody's like, where'd they go?
Oh, it's so
Where have they been?
sad.
Yeah, if you're dating somebody that pulls you away from your community, then
Because you
that
want to
absolutely
just
is a red
add
flag.
them to your life. You don't want them to remove you from your life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's a good point.
so that's something you really want to be cautious of. That's a red flag for me, a huge red flag.
Because you need community in all seasons of life. All
Yeah.
seasons you need it. So that is a big one.
And when you say like they disappear, you don't want to lose yourself in your relationship,
Totally.
right? Like everyone hates the friend who is like, oh, they become their boyfriend or they become like
Yeah.
the person they're with.
It's like you're
And
your own
then,
person, brother.
yeah, you're your own individual. And everyone loves that about you. Obviously, that's why they're your friends. But then the person you're with should love that about you too.
Mm-hmm.
So don't try to take away your individuality. So yeah,
Amen.
no one wants to be that person that comes back and everyone's like, "Oh, where have you been?"
Yeah. And in the idea of isolation, a huge red flag is if they don't want to go to church or they just don't go to church. I mean, I
Yes.
mean, I feel like if this is obvious saying this, I guess, but if they don't go to church, then don't date them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty, that should, I mean, check it off your list, you know,
It can feel really harsh because people can say like, "Oh, I'm a Christian," and they don't go to church. And it's like, "Oh, I remember I had a talk with a girl that I'm leading and she was telling me, "Oh, there's this guy that I'm interested in, but he doesn't go to church. We said he's a Christian. I don't know." And I felt like, "Oh, I want to be delicate because I don't know how she's going to receive my advice." But I was like, "Well, you do really want someone who goes to church. You're so active in church. Like, you don't want to always feel like you're pulling someone.
hmm
Like, you want to be doing life together and on the same."
especially as a woman.
Yeah. And so she came back and she was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to talk to him anymore. You don't go to church. That ain't happening." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
she took that advice and she ran with it." And I thought that was really incredible.
absolutely. I mean, guys that don't want to go to church, I feel like generally they just don't like submitting to any type of authority in their life, and that's going to obviously lead to a lot of issues in a relationship. So if you are, it's easier for a guy to lead his family to come to church. It's a crazy statistic, and I don't want to butcher it, so I won't say the actual numbers, but it's something crazy like if a wife or if the mom goes to church, then there's like a 40% or 50% chance that like the husband and the rest of the family go to church. But if the husband decides to go to church, then it's like over 90%
Oh,
that the family goes to
definitely.
church. And that just
Yeah.
obviously establishes and reiterates the headship that we kind of talked about in the gender roles episode. But yeah, if a guy doesn't want to go to church and if you're dragging him, that will be the whole entire relationship. Like why would you subject yourself to a life of like trying to drag your husband to do something that you want to do or your wife to do something that you want to do? So I would say if they don't go to church, then don't date them. Don't be with them.
Yeah.
That's like a non-negotiable. In my opinion, that should be a non-negotiable.
And that's like the bare minimum, I think.
Exactly.
Like, I attend church, but like, do you serve? Do you give?
Yeah.
Are
Do you
you
sacrifice?
involved? Because, we have friends where it's like, "Oh, he didn't like going to church and she always had to beg him to go." And, maybe it wasn't the right fit for him too, but at the same time, it's like you want to have someone who's going to like be persistent in his effort
Mm-hmm.
or even recommend like let's try somewhere new where he never did.
Yeah.
And we have friends who disagree like about tithing or about like, "Oh, I don't want to be involved." And,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that's really hard if you don't want to be involved in your church community together. I think not going to church is the bare minimum of a
Absolutely.
red
But I
flag.
mean, that's a red flag.
Yeah, it's a red flag.
Now, if like you're dating somebody and they're like, I don't really know about tithing and you're debating that, like, I'm not saying break up with them because, but
No, but I'm saying like you want people that are on board and agree the same as you or
yeah,
open to having those discussions. But if they're not going to church, they ain't doing those other things. They're not
no,
even
I
there.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
I'm saying that's the bare minimum.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then, another one that I put down. I think this is a huge red flag, and it's somebody that has a bad reputation.
Big reputation.
Bi-
Taylor Swift.
so,
Or maybe it's bad. Whatever.
yeah, I think it's bad. Listen. This is a red flag because I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. So I'm not even going to start the sentence with that. I'm not sorry about this. If somebody has a bad reputation, there is a reason for it. Reputations are like the Rotten Tomato score of people.
Oh, that is good.
It is like, it's like, well, he has this bad reputation,
But
but
they
people,
don't know him like I know
yeah,
him.
he's misunderstood. It's like, well, reputation is a general consensus. So he's obviously made enough people feel a specific way to where now he has this reputation. And there's a reason. Like, I've never seen somebody that's like an awesome person and I get to know them and I'm awesome that has a bad reputation.
Yeah, and you don't have to always constantly be defending someone.
Yes.
Like,
That's
don't you want people to
exhausting.
be happy for you and
Hmm.
excited for you and believe in you without having to be like, ooh, you
Yeah.
know?
Like, are you excited if you're talking or dating, whatever, or married? I guess, marriage
Getting
too,
married.
getting married. But are you excited to introduce them to everybody?
You should be.
You should be.
It should be good news.
Yes.
If you're not excited to share that news,
Ask yourself
red
why.
flag.
Yeah. Like, find somebody with a great reputation because it does matter. And there are reasons and a lot of times love blinds us and affection and infatuation blinds us from obvious things that other people see. So, yeah, if somebody has a bad reputation, then there's a reason for it. Now, of course, listen, there's grace and people change. I'm just saying in the moment, if somebody currently has a bad reputation, maybe don't date them. Maybe give it some
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe put them in the friend zone for a little bit.
I don't know. If they got a bad reputation, why are we giving them a chance? Doesn't sound like a good person to begin with.
Well, I'm saying like people that have bad reputations from past and then are changing. It's different.
How generous of you.
Yeah. No, I know.
Another red flag for me is someone that neglects physical boundaries.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're not willing to respect those in someone, it takes you down more than just a notch in my book.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, yeah, more than a notch.
I know.
mean,
I'm not just like, oh, you're down a notch. Like, you're down a lot.
right.
That's
It's
a
not, and
red flag.
yeah, it's not even just like, oh, well, I don't know. It's in a relationship. It's like, we're talking virtue.
Yeah, you have to respect the person that you're with and knowing that, like, of course, like, oh, you meet someone, you're like, oh, I hope that this doesn't end. That's how you always start. But truly, you don't know
Mm-hmm.
until like the ring is on the finger and you say I do. You really don't
You don't.
know that you're the person they're going to end up with for the rest of your life. And imagine thinking about, if you're married, think about all the people, if there are people, like if you had someone that was physical with your person before, like how that makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. To me, I would never want to have to imagine that or know that if that would have been the case for us. But if you think about that, if you're a single person, like think about if you were to get married and knowing that someone would have done those things to your spouse, like how that would make you feel.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be terrible. And
Makes you feel insecure, makes you compare
yeah.
things in your mind, and it's just a real wedge that the enemy can use for you in your marriage going forward.
Mm-hmm. And we have to realize, like, I feel like to properly love somebody is to love them under the confines of what we see in the Bible and what it outlines as true love. So, it's like not establishing boundaries in your dating life. And I think you said this in a previous episode, but like that's why establishing boundaries in your dating life is so important because if a guy can't respect physical boundaries within a dating relationship in terms of not waiting for marriage and oh yeah, I'm sorry I messed up. Oh yeah, yeah. Like if you can't establish those boundaries and hold to it, then what makes you think that just because you're married, all of a sudden this guy is going to respect boundaries in marriage?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I did say that in a
You did
previous
say that.
episode.
Like, okay, if you have a boyfriend or you have a girlfriend and they're like pressuring you to have sex or they're pressuring you to do all of these things in dating that is not okay, then when you get married, you can't be surprised when they cheat on you because if they don't respect boundaries in dating, they won't respect boundaries in marriage. And it's the same exact thing. It's sexual boundaries. So,
and when we talk about like if you're dating, having those physical boundaries, like, we talked a little bit about this in the boundaries episode, but like when you're dating, the boundaries are like, for us, what we had Like nothing good happens after midnight. We're not doing things one-on-one for the most part. Like we'll go to dinner, but we're not like hanging out one-on-one. Like my family's there or your family's there, but my family's rule too is like you guys don't share a blanket.
Yeah.
You have your own blankets. You're not cuddling or spooning on the couch. You're not laying on each other's lap. Like literal like rules that we had that would safeguard you from like, blurring those lines at all.
Yeah. It's important. It's important to establish those early on. But
And you know what? Those actually had to be said for us to acknowledge them and like obey those rules.
totally.
It wasn't just like, oh, we're dating and we're gonna honor each other and not like sleep together. Okay, but like what about the blurred lines? Like you're not sleeping together, but it's getting a little saucy. Like it can be super uncomfortable to talk about those things and like what are those physical boundaries, but I named a few of them for you. So, whatever that looks like for you, like maybe you're gonna have to sit down and talk about, oh, I feel
They
like
should be
when
vocalized,
this happens, I can tell that we start to cross a line more often. Like we never slept over together. We never slept together, period. Like not even just like, oh, we just took a nap together or
Yeah.
oh, we accidentally, fell asleep in the same bed because we hung out late at night because we live so far away. Like we didn't do any of those things. Like we went on a couple family trips together, and with my family they're like, oh, you ain't staying together. So I would sleep with my sister and whatever. We went on your family trip and they didn't have the same boundaries for us, which was fine. But I remember they were like, oh, you guys can have this room. And then we were like, oh, no. Like, no, we don't need that. No, Megan, I'm going to sleep with you.
Yeah.
And she was like, what? Like, what if I don't want to sleep with you? So we had to make those boundaries and say what they were. So that we went into those situations. It was like, oh no, like we don't do that. And it was super easy to, follow those guidelines when we actually named what they were. We did not, we would lay on the couch and watch a movie or sit, and he had his own blanket and I had my own blanket. And it's like, that can seem really silly and nitpicky, but when you think about what that leads to or what can happen under the blankets.
Right.
I mean, it
Stuff
really does
happens
matter.
under the blankets, man.
They do.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to vocalize those boundaries.
Respect physical boundaries, and if they don't, that's a red flag.
Yeah. So with red flags, it's like if you're dating and you're kind of like, wait, I think I see that one, and I think I see that one, and I think that's the other one. Like, I mean, my honest advice to you would just be like, just reconsider the relationship, bring it up, like talk about it, but like really think about these, because red flags, like you're saying, it's further than, oh yeah, he's he got some, he can work on that a little bit.
Not a yellow flag, it's a red flag.
It's a red flag of really consider this, because these are big deals. And if you can tell yourself all day long it's not a big deal, but they are.
But you know what? I think what's really helpful too is like the people in your life that you really trust, that really love you, your friends, your close people, ask them what they think about the person in your life.
Yeah, they'll be honest.
Ask them what their opinions are. And when I've done that, it's like, ooh, I got some bad reviews before. And then when we started dating, I was like, oh, everyone loved you. And it made it so easy for me to move forward with confidence, knowing that everyone was behind us. But I remember I asked them and I was like, well, what do you think about this? Because like, my family just doesn't like him, but I think they're crazy. And they were like, no, I don't like him either.
No, you crazy.
I was like, oh my gosh. I remember it was like pillow talk, me and my friend late one night. And she was like, no, Adrian, like he's really messed up. And I was like, oh my gosh, if you open that door and let your friends actually feel like they can be honest with you, you're gonna get some really good feedback.
Yeah. And just
your
like
friends should like your person. I think your
should.
community should like them. If they don't, why not? And know that like they're not emotional because they're not invested in that relationship the same way you are. So they're able to look at that from a new perspective and say, oh, I think that's unhealthy. Where you might be like, yeah, it's a little unhealthy, but he makes me just so happy. Like they'll see it for what it really is.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you have to really look at the red flags and establish, what your non-negotiables, and be honest with it. Like if you're dating somebody and you see some major red flags, you have to be honest and vocalize that, hey, I see this in you. And if this relationship is going to go to the next place, you have to figure this out.
Yeah, this needs to change.
Like this needs to change. And those are hard conversations, obviously, but they're necessary, because As terrible as this is to say, I think a lot of people just get lazy in marriage. It's like, because it's like, oh, well, you're kind of stuck with
The
me now.
pursuit can feel like it's over because you've already got them.
Hmm. Right. So it's like, it's like protect yourself and establish those things before you get married so that when you are married, it can be fruitful. Now, if you are married and you see those red flags in somebody, then it just takes work. Like, it's not obviously a hopeless situation. But again, you have to vocalize it, and you have to be prayerful, and you have to take whatever steps are necessary to get through it. Those steps might be counseling, those steps might be getting community involved, whatever that looks
Yeah.
like. You have to fix it, because
And don't be afraid to bring up confrontation and seeing concerns in your spouse, because you're like, oh, I'm afraid that like it's gonna get into a blow up fight and like they're gonna leave me. It's like, you know what? That if there's an issue, don't let fear stop you from confronting an issue, because at the end of the day, it needs to be resolved.
yeah.
And obviously you want to go through it with grace and with prayerful consideration, but when you see an issue and you're married, like you've got to bring it up, because like that red flag could turn into something else.
Yeah, you have to bring it up. You have to deal with it. You have to do what's right.
And that hopefully the person that you're with is teachable, does have someone in their corner that they can trust to be like, okay, maybe they need to hear it from an outside perspective. It's not just you.
Hmm.
Maybe there's that trusted person that can confirm, like, oh, yeah, I think maybe you're looking at this from a different way.
And if you are in a place where, you're like, "Well, that person doesn't have anybody in their life that they listen to, and they're stubborn and they don't listen and this and that," then honestly, my encouragement to you is tell on them to God.
Yeah, pray. Prayer is the biggest tool that you can have. God can change their heart.
He opposes the proud, and you don't want to be opposed to God. And so, yeah, tell on them to God.
And sometimes that's the safest place for you to go in your prayer life, is to work things out with God first. And really, it says bring all of everything to Him by prayer and petition.
Hmm.
So if there's something in your life where you feel like you really can't turn to anyone, because maybe you want to protect them from other people's opinions, where you already have bad opinions of them, like I can see how that would be a hard place to
Yeah,
bring that to someone else. But maybe your first place should always be God anyway. You should always pray about it first. And maybe that does require bringing someone in eventually, but I think once you've worked it out enough with God, it won't be an emotional unleash on your friends or
absolutely.
family. It's going to be like, hey, I've prayed about this. I know it's an issue. I just need advice.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. Okay, do you want to do some Q&A?
Q&A,
Q&A before the end?
yes. Yeah, we got a good question this week, which I felt really went with what we were going to talk about today. So I
Hmm.
really want to say that. The question is, can rom-com love be real? Like the chase them through the airport kind of love. And I just read that and I thought, oh, that is beautiful.
That is so
I
beautiful.
believe in that. Do you believe in that?
Rom-com love.
I feel like though when you see these kinds of stories and they make these big gestures and whatever, it does feel like an outlier situation. Doesn't mean it's not possible.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I think there are some elements of romantic storytelling and whatever that's unrealistic to the real life. But I will say, like rom-com love, yes, I do think that type of love exists. Like, we don't want to go so far on the practical side that we don't act like, the union and the love between a man and a woman, like a husband and a wife, can't be like a magical, awesome experience, because it is. And you can have fun and you can laugh and you can have grand adventures. And Adrian surprised me going to Disneyland on my birthday. Like, those
Mm-hmm.
things are real. And when I think about like trips that we've taken and moments that we've had, and that's felt movie-esque to me.
Yeah.
Like really, really intentional time that we've had together, and places that we've gone, things that we've experienced. Like, yeah, that has seemed like a movie. So I don't think that's unrealistic.
I think what's sweet about when you watch movies, I'm thinking of like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. It's one of my,
Yeah.
my top fives I pick. It's a rom-com. And it's not just the grand gestures though that make like those movies and relationships so admirable and special. It's also like the little moments where they start to like connect with your family and they start to play
Yeah.
this game and they play the jokes on each other, and it's like it's the small like tuck of the
Hmm.
hair behind the ear. It's not always the big grand gestures of chasing them to the airport, even though those are part of it. I think that really is. I think it's also the little things as well. So not to only look for the major things, but to also look for the sweet small things as well.
Yeah. I may not have chased you in an airport before, but I did show up to your house in the middle of the night when you were mad at me one time.
Oh, babe, I love that. We got into an argument. We were dating, and I was
One of
so
our worst
upset.
arguments.
I don't even remember what it was about.
Was it the Portland one?
I don't know.
I think it was. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was. We were going to go to Portland with Adrian's family. This is so funny looking back because this is such a stupid thing to fight about.
Trailblazers
this is so
game,
funny. Yes.
And me and my sister were in a tiff.
Like a sister tiff, right?
It was nothing major, but it was a tiff. And Spencer was like, I'm not going until you resolve it. I'm not going on this trip until you resolve it. And I was like,
pretty self-righteous looking back.
What? Why? Like, this has nothing to do with like you or me. Why are you mad about what I did with my sister?
I was so annoying.
And I was like, you know what? You don't get to have like an opinion about this because like you don't get what it's like. Like you would never have a tiff like that with your sisters. If you had a brother, maybe like it's different. And like you just don't get it.
I didn't get it. Now I get it. But
so my family all went, and neither one of us went. And it was super awkward.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like when you go somewhere, you have to explain like, he doesn't want to go. Why? We're fighting and we're not over it and we can't go. So I stayed home. He stayed home. My family went, they came back. And I had like a sliding glass door in my bedroom that went out to the lake. And it was sometime at night that you came.
I didn't come to the sliding glass door.
Yeah, you knocked and you apologized.
Yeah, that was up the main door, the main house. I apologized.
Oh, that was sweet.
I did. It was like, honestly, probably because we had been fighting the entire time. And
like all day,
and
all
I was
night.
like, I'm not going to go to bed. So I just went over and apologized. So maybe there was one good thing that can happen after midnight.
An apology.
An apology.
And then goodbye.
Yeah. So what was I even talking about? Why did I tell that story?
The grand gesture that you did.
Oh, yeah. You're
like, you're fighting and they come in the middle of the night and they bring flowers. I'm sorry, baby.
That did happen. I didn't bring flowers, but
you should have.
I think that type of love does exist, and it's because it's special. That's what the movie's trying to portray, is how special love is, and love is special.
The connection.
The connection is special.
It's worth it.
Absolutely.
I would run through the airport for you.
Thank you.
Fight security off. Get away.
One time I ran through the airport for Adrian, but that's because I almost missed the flight and she was on the flight. And we were coming home from Arizona, and I was with your brother. It was your brother's fault. And I said, I need to get onto this plane because if I don't, my wife will murder me. That's what I said. Okay, next question. Did you ever feel you were wiser than your husband because of the age gap? No.
Well, okay, when we talked about our age gap, it's not so much about the age, it's about the maturity, right? So I felt like we were matched in maturity, but I was a little bit, I mean, it's 3 years. It's not a huge age gap when you really think about it. But I did feel like there were certain things in life that maybe like I had done that you hadn't done. Like I bought myself a car. I had credit cards. I balanced my checkbook. I had bills, and
hey,
I had a credit score. Your parents paid for everything until we got married.
I had grocery bills.
You did not.
What? When we were dating?
Your parents bought you whatever you wanted.
No. My happy teriyaki paycheck paid for my groceries. Everything else.
But you truly did not have any like bills. You didn't pay for your phone or car insurance or anything like that.
Yeah.
So like in those things, like you didn't have a credit score.
No, I did.
Because we got you a credit card once we were.
No,
engaged.
I had a credit card since I was 16. My dad got it for me.
So I felt like in those kinds of things, like, okay, maybe I had some more experience, but eventually, obviously, you grew and you learned, and now we do it together. But I feel like it was a maturity thing. So I didn't feel like there was a lot of things I was wiser in than you. But I do feel like there was some life experience. But again, the maturity is what really matters in the age gap. Yeah.
And then another question to go along with it was, how did we handle friendships with our age gap?
That I will say was a little interesting for me. Because like I always say, it doesn't really matter. It's 3 years. It's not that big of a deal. But when you think about like, I was a senior in high school You would have been in 8th grade.
Yeah, it was 3 years, but
The
like
way
I
that like
was,
our
yeah.
grades turned out. So like my brother was a freshman when I was a senior, and when I think about you being friends with his friends or being even younger than that, and you would start to hang out with them, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, these are babies. Like, I really like don't want to spend all my time with such young people.
Yeah.
Like, there's even one of our really close couple of friends. They're like one of our best friends. But it's funny because now, like, I look and it's like it doesn't feel any different. But I was her 6th grade camp counselor.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's
The age
like
gaps matter more back then,
back
though.
then, but when I think about it at when we
Yeah.
first started dating, it felt weird. Like, so we tried to balance like hanging out with my friends and your friends, and then actually a lot of our friends ended up like dating each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
So
is true.
it kind of did crossbreed some worlds a little bit.
Yeah.
You're welcome to all of you who are married
Yeah,
now.
seriously, you guys are welcome because it's our.
Like literally, think about like 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know
There's
who
like
these people that you're
There's
counting
like
are.
5 couples that like we all started dating at the same time and then we all got
All
married.
got married, yeah.
Kind of insane.
But yeah, I mean, I think now I would say
I'm not going to name them.
I would say that more you kind of came into my social circle a little bit more than I came into yours because when we started dating was when I still was an intern and I was like living with all these people
Yeah,
and
I think
I
when
was
you're
with
in
them
a
every day.
when you're in a when you're in school, your community is so much larger because you spend every day with
Yes.
people
And
where
more condensed,
yeah, I
like
wasn't in
proximity
school.
wise.
So my friend group was it looked a lot different than yours.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe wasn't as dense as yours. So I feel like there were just a lot more different opportunities of like who you wanted to hang out with, but I mean, eventually I got over it and we're all friends with all of them now and love them all. It's not a big deal. At first it was weird for me though, and I did have to like get my head out of like, this is my brother's friend. No, 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 they're my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and also it doesn't really matter. When I was in school, I'd be so annoyed about like, Brittany, no, that's my friend, or Jake, no, that's my friend.
Yeah.
But now it
Possessive.
doesn't really matter.
Because you're a healthy 6 now.
I'm a healthy 6 now.
Yep.
I'm loyal, not possessive.
Okay, last question is somebody basically said that they're dating and they had sex and now they made a decision to re-wait for marriage and what we thought about that.
I think you can definitely re-wait
Yeah,
for marriage.
I think you should. I think, you know what?
Don't ever feel like you're too far gone that you can't come back from your mistakes and like and do better now.
And establish those, like we were saying before, establish those so that when you step into marriage, you're stepping in a good, confident, godly way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I get it. Like, you guys have already had sex. And so part of you is probably thinking, like, well, if we already did it, then, you know, what's the point of waiting? Well, the point of waiting is, you know, it kind of talks about this in scripture too, where I think Paul explains, like, okay, well, what's the point of grace? Is the point of grace so we can just go on sinning more? Like, no, we don't make grace a crutch. We make it an empowerment to live a better life. So understanding that God created sex for marriage, yeah, I think it's incredibly noble and integrous for you guys to recognize that and say, okay, so starting right now, we're going to wait and we're going to honor God, because I think that your relationship will be a lot more blessed and honored from God if you do make that commitment.
And we've had, people who will go through our pre-marriage course at the church or, friends that we know. And it's like, you may be engaged. You may be living together.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's a month until your wedding, you can still make that choice.
Yep.
And I think that that's great. I think if you're still saying it's not too late for me to do the right thing, I think, I've had friends too where it's like, oh, I've really messed up. I think the best thing you can do is own it, be
Yep.
honest about it, and be like, you know what? But from here on out, we're going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think people can totally get behind that versus
People
saying like,
celebrate it for
oh,
sure.
I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Like I messed up. It's just too late for me now. It's never too late.
It never
I think
is.
you can always, have a chance to make the turn and do the honorable thing.
Yeah. And Satan is, he works in secret and he uses your secrecy and your hidden stuff to be able to mess with you. But like when you come out with it and you're like, oh yeah, no, it's true, we did this, and we're not proud of it, but we're living a better life. It's like nobody can say anything
what can
about
they
you.
say? Yeah, you're owning it.
Yeah.
I think your boundaries have to be even more severe, and it may be
Severe.
severe. It may be really hard for you to fight that having experienced it, but it's definitely possible. You can definitely do it, and have people hold you accountable. Like, hey, this
Mm-hmm.
is where we're at, but we're moving forward in this way, and I need you to ask me these questions because I know that if I have to talk about it, I'm going to be thinking about more of how to uphold myself to the
Totally.
standard.
Totally. Yeah, that's a good point. That's all the Q&As that we had.
Yeah, but really good questions.
They are really good questions. Keep submitting them. You can go to our Instagram page and find our anonymous Q&A. And then sometimes we do questions here and there on the profile. But yeah, you know what? Look out for the red flags and establish what's best for you and wherever you guys are at, whether that's single, dating, or married. It's all about creating and going forward into, the best possible relationship scenario that you could be in, and that honors God, and that really respects yourselves and does the right thing. So I hope that you guys learned. We hope that you guys are enjoying the podcast still. We still are enjoying it. We enjoy, I think so. I'm not going to speak for Adrian. I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it.
Okay, good. But yeah, we're having fun recording this, and so thank you guys for being a part. Make sure that you guys leave a review on Apple and Spotify. Leave a written review. Like the video on YouTube, and subscribe, because that all helps just get the message out into the world.
Yes, the subscribe, the comments, it's the megaphone so that more people can hear the content and hopefully be blessed by it and learn something, and get these biblical values out there too.
Yeah, so we love you too, crew. We're thankful for all of you, and we will see you guys next time on the podcast.
To crew.